If you're tuning in to Backyard Wisdom, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to hear is one of the most underrated engineering achievements in medieval history. For the next minute, stay with me. Across Europe, timber frame houses from the Middle Ages still stand in perfect condition despite 6 centuries of rain, frost, soil moisture and time. Many of these beams have outlived dynasties, wars, plagues and urban expansion. Yet modern pressure-treated lumber, armed with industrial preservatives, often fails in less than 30 years. What those medieval builders created wasn't luck. It was the result of deliberate techniques designed with a level of craftsmanship that modern shortcuts rarely match. This long-lost system of rot-proofing was so effective that archaeologists pull beams from wet soil that are still structurally sound after 500 years. Today, we're restoring this knowledge piece by piece, and you can use the same principles in your own backyard projects. The foundation of medieval rot-proofing. It all began with choosing timber at just the right time and from the right location. You see, the first step wasn't a coating or post-treatment, it was all about selection. Medieval carpenters, they really understood that trees behave differently depending on the season, the soil, the slope, and even the age. They had a preference, for slow-grown timber from those high-elevation forests. That's where the yearly growth rings were tight and the resin levels were nice and high. A beam cut from such wood resisted moisture naturally because its dense structure left fewer avenues for fungi. Timing was equally crucial. Trees were felled in the coldest months, when sap was low. Low sap wood contains fewer nutrients for decay organisms and absorbs water more slowly. Anyone building a shed, gate or raised bed can apply this immediately. If you ever have the freedom to cut or buy winter-cut lumber from dense growth trees, you already gain a form of natural rot resistance that chemicals can't replace. Medieval builders relied on sapwood removal and heartwood preservation to extend timber longevity. Carpenters of the period knew that sapwood, the lighter outer ring, rots rapidly, while heartwood, rich in resins and tannins, can last centuries. They removed sapwood intentionally in structural elements, especially in posts, beams and sills. This wasn't decorative carving, it was preservation. You'll notice ancient barn timbers across the Alps and Britain where the edges were trimmed sharply for this exact reason. If you replicate this today, simply strip or plane off the soft sapwood when preparing posts for long-term soil contact. Even just removing a 1/4-inch layer can really dramatically improve durability. Heat treatment, well, it became this sort of invisible shield that hardened wood fibers without actually burning them. So, before metal fasteners were common, medieval builders relied on joinery, wedges and pegs. But they also used controlled heat to, protect the exterior surface of beams. This technique wasn't about charring, it was about tightening fibers. You see, the process transformed the wood in a way that was quite remarkable. By holding timber near a bed of hot coals, the outer layer darkened and sealed, becoming more water-resistant. It's fascinating how such a simple method could make a significant difference. The method worked especially well on posts driven into soil or used near damp foundations. It's these practical applications that truly highlight the ingenuity of the technique. You know, you can recreate this with nothing more than a small fire pit or a charcoal bed. Just hold the wood above the heat, keep it rotating steadily, and then stop when the surface turns a deep toasted brown. This process actually strengthens the fibres and, well, it slows moisture penetration. The most powerful medieval rot-proofing tool was tannin-rich saturation, using oak, chestnut and bark extracts. You know, this step is often misunderstood or forgotten entirely, yet it was actually one of the strongest natural wood preservatives in history. Medieval carpenters, well, they soaked beams in tannin-heavy solutions created from boiling oak bark, chestnut bark, gall nuts or even acacia roots. Tannins bond with wood fibres, making them less hospitable to fungi and insects. They also react with lignin to form water-resistant complexes, which is honestly quite fascinating when you think about it. Some carpenters, you know, would bury timbers in tannin-rich boggy soil for months, just letting the natural minerals and tannins really soak in. That's actually why bog oak can survive for thousands of years. You can actually apply this system at home with remarkable success. A simple approach, honestly, is to boil oak or chestnut bark in water for several hours until the liquid turns really dark. Right. So, brush or soak your lumber in this extract repeatedly. For garden projects like tool handles, outdoor benches or shed beams, this step adds years of life without needing commercial sealants. Medieval rot-proofing reached its peak with the application of natural oils and resins that polymerized over time. Linseed oil, hemp oil, pine resin and even animal fats were used across medieval Europe, depending on region and availability. These weren't applied in a single coat. They were layered repeatedly until the wood absorbed them deeply. As these oils oxidized, they hardened into a semi-flexible, water-resistant shell that remained stable through decades of weather exposure. An excellent modern application is, well, combining boiled linseed oil with pine resin or beeswax, warming the mixture gently and brushing it into the grain multiple times. When treating an outdoor bench, timber frame or post, you want to apply the mixture while it's warm and let each layer soak fully before adding the next. Over time, it forms a finish that honestly beats many modern treatments in longevity. Now, the final layer of protection really came from how medieval builders installed the wood, not just how they treated it. Even perfectly prepared wood fails when it's installed incorrectly. Medieval builders understood this, and they designed their structures so that water never pooled against timber. They raised beams off the ground with stones, added drainage channels beneath posts, and tilted structural elements so rain would move away naturally. A practical example today is setting fence posts not in concrete, but on a stone footing or compacted gravel, allowing water to drain freely. Another is designing garden structures so horizontal surfaces are minimized or sloped. When you combine proper installation with the medieval treatments above, the results are astonishingly long-lasting. What makes medieval rot-proofing so impressive is that every step works with the wood's biology, instead of smothering it with chemicals. You know, modern treatments often trap moisture inside lumber, and that ends up causing rot from the inside out. But medieval methods were different. They hardened the exterior, enriched the interior with natural preservatives, and made sure water could escape rather than collect. This is exactly why ancient timber-framed homes, granaries and bridges still stand, while, well, so many 21st century outdoor projects fail in just a decade. If you want more deep historical building wisdom you can actually use in your own backyard today, make sure you subscribe to Backyard Wisdom and, share this video with anyone who appreciates old-world ingenuity. The knowledge is ancient, but honestly, the results speak across centuries.